everybody, we're gonna do a color exercise now. We just made our color wheel using acrylic paint and making a warm color wheel using the ultramarine blue and the cadmium red versus the alizarin crimson and the phthalo blue. So we made this already, so you should have a bunch of paint left on your palette, and we're going to now talk about color schemes and different color palettes. So we learned all about different color palettes from the color wheel, right? A triadic color scheme is a color scheme that forms a triangle. So the primary colors are a triadic color scheme. Secondary colors form a triadic color scheme. But you could also do something, like red, violet, yellow, orange, and blue, green. That's also a triadic color scheme. So triadic color scheme. Another one is a monochromatic color scheme. And that is when you take one color, mono, mix it with different versions of tints, tones, and shades, mix it with black and white, and both black and white to get different tints and tones and shades with just one color. So that's monochromatic. We also have a we have complementary color scheme, which is when you use colors opposite on the color wheel, right? Blue and orange, yellow and violet, anything that's opposite of each other. Those complementary color schemes really make paintings vibrate. And when you mix complements together, you get a neutral color. There's also split complementary, which makes an amazing color scheme. That's when you take one color and then instead of using its complement, you use the two colors that are next to it. So like, for example, you could use red and then blue, green, and yellow, green. So it's a really fun color scheme. We also have the tetradic color scheme, which forms like a rectangle. A rectangle. So that would be like purple and red, and then yellow and green. So it forms, like a rectangle. So it could also be like yellow and orange and purple and blue. I suppose you could also use these intermediate colors, right? Or tertiary colors. You'd have to mix them up first and then use them. Analogous colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So like just those 4 colors, or just these like 4 or 5 colors, You could get kind of creative with the analogous colors that you use. You could also use warm colors, which are yellow, red, and orange. You could use cool colors, which are purple, green, and blue. That's a color scheme. And then, we talked about this secret, and it's not really like so much a color scheme as it is a way to make sure that you're spreading your paint around and using the paint successfully. But we talked about the most sum bits rule, and that's when you use most of one color scheme and then you use some of another color or color scheme, and then just a bit of another color. So maybe a dominant color that you have is like cool colors, like maybe greens and blues, and then you add just a bit of warm colors, and then you have, or you use some warm colors, and then just like a bit of black or a bit of ultramarine blue, or something that's just like a bit of one solid color. Okay, so let's get painting. I'm gonna paint this apple. I've drawn it out already. I'm not worrying about what it looks like. So it's not about like, oh, I'm gonna make this apple look perfectly like an apple. That is not the point. The point is that we are playing with color. You could use anything. I'm choosing an apple because it is simple and it has a nice shape. You could paint like a bottle. You could paint, I would do something that has a nice curve to it. It's just, I think, more fun. Like, it might not be as fun if you did something boxy like your phone. Also, you might be looking at your phone. I don't know, maybe there's like a nice plant or a nice flower, but I would like you to look at something that has a nice shape. Something like this. Also, this I think has like a nice shape with the lid and everything. anything you want. Even something like, look at this, this tape has a very interesting shape, you know? Find something, draw it out 4 times, and like I said, we're focusing more on the color scheme and mixing colors than we are on the making it look like it's realistic. So I'm gonna switch here to my my workspace. Let me make sure it's still going. That looks pretty good. I can move everything up. Is it still okay? It's still going. I have to always check. One time I went through this whole thing and then it wasn't even taping, which is really annoying. So, okay. All right. So I'm gonna start this first one. Okay, look at, I have all my colors on the outside of the palette. I'm going to use the inside to mix, and I'm just going to use water. If it's too thick, I'm just going to use the water, and I'm going to paint pretty fast because I don't want this to take forever. I'm going to just try to get the colors down. Okay, so I might wet my brush a little bit, dry it off. I'm doing split complementary here, so I'm going to choose from the color wheel, split complementary. I think I'm going to do red because it is a red apple, just to do that. So maybe I'll use red, and then the 2 colors I'm going to use to split it are going to be yellow green and blue green. Okay, I'm going to use the cadmium red because it is sort of like a reddish orange, a little bit like the apple that I am looking at. Okay, and we're painting the whole space. I'm gonna do the background and everything. Okay, so all right, split complementary. I'm using red and then yellow green and blue green. I think I'm gonna use the blue. I'm gonna have to make blue green, which is to take the blue, and green is not in our palette, so if we just add a tiny bit of yellow, it should make it a bluish green. We could also add white to it to make it a little bit lighter. In fact, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Add a little bit of white. I'm gonna paint this in the background. So automatically you can see that this blue does look really beautiful. This is part of the reason why this color scheme works, because you know, these are complements. Ultimately, they're very close to being complementary colors. And look at, I can also, to make the color a little bit more varied, I could add some more white to it. I could add maybe a little bit more blue in some places. I could use a thinner brush, but if I use the thinner brush, it's going to take me longer to fill the space, and I don't want it to take longer to fill the space. I want to make these fast paintings. You can make yours slower if you want, but you know, I don't want this video to be, I would like this video to be 20 minutes. I would like to finish this in 20 minutes. Notice that I am taking it and I'm trying to show my brush strokes. I like it that you can see that it's a painting and it's not like some can't even talk and paint at the same time. I don't want it to look like a photograph. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, then yellow green means that it's going to be mostly yellow. This yellow that we have is not very potent, so that means you kind of have to use a lot of yellow compared to the blue when you're making bluish green. Okay, this is a decent yellow green. I'm gonna use it for the highlight here. As you can see, it's, I don't know if I just got like a bad batch of it, but paint does not cover very well. You can see that it's, this paint is, the paint under it is showing through. So it's a little bit transparent, which is good to know. If I wanted this color to show really bright, I'd have to use the white of the paper or the white of the canvas to let that show through, because this doesn't seem to be a color that we can paint over very without it really dulling. Okay, then let's see. This area down here is darker, so in order to make it darker, we're gonna mix it with its complements a little bit. So I'm gonna take the red and I'm gonna take some of the green, which is green. I'm gonna add a little bit extra blue because it's to make it that. So this will make it a neutral color, and it almost makes black, right? So I'm gonna use that for the shadowed area. Like that. I'm gonna also use it for the stem. This edge here is dark because it's like the light is sort of coming from this way. And then I'm gonna add some more red. Some red in here just as like a reflection. Okay. You could also, like, you know, it's nice to spread the colors around. Like if you have you know, ideally there's green up here and there's no green down here. And just take some of that. It's probably not going to show up, like I said, but we're gonna put this, I'm gonna put it, there's like a little bit of something here, and then, like, who knows, I'll just put it in here. It doesn't have to be realistic, you know, maybe it's in this background a little bit too. It just pulls our eye. Once you add a little green here, because it was up here, it pulls our eye down, right? I think I'm gonna add also some more of this yellow green along the side of this to add like a highlight to it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna move on. It's not supposed to be, it's not a gray painting, but whatever. It has, this is the split complementary. Red, yellow green, and blue green. Okay, then I'm gonna do this tetratic or analogous. Which should we do? We could do analogous with just like some of the same colors that we used, but I kind of like the idea of using a tetratic color scheme. I haven't really done that before. So maybe I'll use orange and red and green and blue. Does that sound good? Orange and red, green and blue. Or shift it a little bit and use red violet, blue green, yellow green. We already have these two colors. I can just make a reddish orange and red violet. That actually would be probably really nice. Let's try doing that. Okay, so that sounds good, because then we could take the different colors of the apple and use red orange for some of them. So I'm going to take the red, add a little bit of yellow. I have to be careful. You should really wash your brush out in between colors, because this is what's happening. See, my white is right now. I've been dipping my blue brush. I am taking it from the very edge though, so that I could theoretically go later and get it from the other edges. I'm just being lazy, and I'm saving a little bit of paint by not, here I go again, trying to talk and paint. Oh my gosh. You don't want to get your colors all muddy. And if you dipped right out of the middle and then you have like different colors where they're not supposed to be, it's just okay. This alizarin crimson is already pretty much red violets. I could add some more blue to it to make it more red violet. I think I'll do that. Take this, add a little bit of this blue. Oh my gosh, that made it so dark. That was not my intention. That phthalo blue is very, very strong. It's very potent. So you just need a tiny bit of it to make your color. So here is this reddish blue. It's nice because it reddish blue, red violet, makes it pretty dark. Okay, this is my red orange and my red violet, and then I'm going to add the for a tetradic, I'm going to use green and blue. All right, so I'm going to make the green. I think I'm going to paint the background green because that will make this all stand out. So I'll take yellow and add just a little bit of that blue because, like, remember how potent that is? It's crazy strong. Okay. And remember, edges matter. So like when you're going up to the painting, it's okay. Like touch the other paint, even if it's wet. Sometimes it's nice that see, it did get a little bit of the red into my background paint, but actually it's good because, like I said earlier, you want a little bit of your paint to be spread out throughout the whole thing. All right, the other color is blue, and I think I'm gonna do the shadow with the blue. And I'm not done yet. I'm gonna use a dark blue, so I'm gonna take this blue and add just a little bit of its complement, which is orange, right? To make it a little darker. To paint that in the shadowed area. Okay, this is tetradic color scheme. I'm going to take that blue. I'm actually going to make the stem the blue. I'm going to make this little doodad here blue. I'm going to add shadow over here and make that blue. I'm going to add a little bit of blue up here. Maybe make it look like it's on a table, sort of. Blend it in. Okay. So see what I'm doing? Now it would be nice to take some of that orange, or wait, no, red orange is the color. Pull that down into here a little bit because right now it's just right up there, right? So here's our red orange. I'm gonna go over this a little bit to make it so that the paint looks thicker. Oops. And I'm gonna take a little bit of that. You know, maybe your colors have a purpose. You know, maybe there's something down here that needs some orange, but do you see what that did? Like it just automatically unified the space just by me adding like a little bit of the color into the background a little bit. See how that just made it like, makes our eyes go throughout the whole thing. Okay, so that's a tetradic color scheme. Moving on, triadic. Let's see, we could use blue, yellow, orange, but that seems, I can't even talk today, not blue, yellow, and orange. Primaries, yellow, blue, and red. Or we could use orange, green, and violet. I want to be fancy though, and I think I'm gonna use maybe yellow, orange, red, violet, and blue, green. Because I just love these intermediate or tertiary colors, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna use yellow, orange, blue, green, and red, violet for my apple painting. So let's see. Okay, so we can use red violet, which is this color that we made earlier. I'm gonna make a little bit more. Red violet, take the violet, mix it with the red. The alizarin though, like I said, alizarin crimson is already kind of like a reddish violet. In fact, I need to add more of this to make it red violet. Okay, like this. Then we have blue, green, and yellow, orange that we could use. Oh, yellow, orange. I guess I'll do that for the highlight around there. So some colors are more opaque and some are more transparent. And you should remember that from your watercolor class. If it's opaque, can't really see through it. This looks sort of transparent, which is why we kind of see the white paper coming through. Okay, then the backgrounds can be blue-green, which is, I'm gonna take the phthalo and put it here to make it just a tad green, add yellow. Oh, I guess we made this color already. Blue, green. Ooh, this is dark. I'm gonna make this the and again, it doesn't have to look natural, right? I think I'm gonna take this and add some white to it. It's still blue green, it's just a different, it's a tint of it. It does look really pretty next to that color, huh? I don't know who came up with these color schemes, but they were onto something. Okay, we do not use the yellow orange. Is that what you were using? Blue, green, red, violet, yeah, and yellow orange. Okay. I have a feeling that I should have put the yellow orange on first, just because this yellow is like I showed you earlier, it does not go, it doesn't cover other paint very well, but we'll try. If I make it thick enough, maybe it will. All right, so there is sort of this like highlight here, highlight here. And then I want to use that color a few more little places, right? So maybe just add a little bit over here. Maybe it's like the reflective shadow or something like sitting on a table. I don't know. Almost done. Oh, I'm gonna take some of the red violet and also add that a little bit, a few other places. Like maybe it's part of this shadow here. Okay. And then I'm gonna take that blue again. Wait, what is it on the blue? Oh, blue green, right? Which is, where am I? Just gonna take that right here. Okay, that one's good enough. That's my triadic. And then here I'm gonna do the sum most bits rule. And I think I'm gonna make most of it, most bits, most sum bits is the better way to say it. I'm gonna make most of it, a warm color. Well, these like red and red violet. I'm gonna make these three colors. I'm gonna make most of it red, red, orange, red, violet. Then I'm gonna make a little bit of it, some, this is gonna be most, some, and then bits of like a dark color, like a dark neutral color. So it's gonna be this and this. So mostly red, red, orange, red, violet. So I'm gonna take mostly like red. This is the red violets. And let's see, the red orange. Okay, I'm gonna also, let's see, I'm gonna put maybe half of the painting over here is gonna also be this color. And then I'm gonna put some of the bluish green. This is, I guess this is blue green. I'm gonna make it a little bit more greenish. Kind of running out of paint and I'm too lazy to put more on my palette. I don't know if I'm teaching you bad ways or not. Okay. It's okay. So this is the sum most bits. It's mostly this like red, red, orange, just like red family, adding a little bit of the, I'm adding it's mostly red, mostly reds, some of this bluish green, and then I'm gonna put bits of like a dark color. So in here, actually, I'm gonna make this darker. Oh, that's gonna be the dark color. Okay, just a second. What happens if I mix these together a little bit? Okay, now I'm gonna pull it all together. The by mixing this what do you call it? Burnt umber with some blue. I'm gonna use, and it should make a dark color, like a dark neutral black. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna make the stem. I'm gonna make this edge because, you know, that's like where there's a shadow. I'm gonna fill in the cast shadow with that. Okay, that's my bits. I could put like a bit here. You know, maybe I just add this like little pattern in the back. That's it. Actually I might want to add highlight. So can I add highlight? Do I have white left? I'm not gonna add a white highlight. I'm gonna take this whites. And I'm gonna mix it with, what kind of red should I mix it with? I kind of like, mix it with this red. Also, the closer you are to being finished painting, the more you can just like dip it and mess up your palette. Okay, so the highlights are over here. And obviously, the more you work on a painting, I mean, sometimes you can overpaint a painting for sure. But, you know, the more layered and time you put into it. Okay, did I do this in 20 minutes? I have no idea. I gotta see. Okay. All right, so have fun with it. Make your 4 color schemes and upload it to Google Classroom. Okay, you guys, have a good day. Bye.